Welcome to the Mary Dee Show. I'm your host, Mary Dee, here to be your guide as we extract wisdom and life lessons from thought leaders, artists, spiritual luminaries, and wellness experts. In 2018, I healed from breast cancer without the use of chemotherapy or pharmaceuticals. I love biohacking and plant medicine and what it means to be in relationship with spirit so that we can feel whole and complete. I want to sprinkle you with some hope dust, tickle your funny bone, and inspire you to find your inner roar. Get ready to live your most aligned, purposeful, and joy-filled life now. Today is short and sweet because I am sitting here with so much joy as the year comes to a close. And I want to thank each of you again for being part of the community. I read through all the reviews on Apple and Spotify this last week, and I was blown away by your comments. So thank you for sharing, downloading, subscribing, and of course, for leaving a review. I thought it would be inspiring to share with you my biggest takeaway from this last month. And it came in identifying a pattern and spotlighting a blind spot. And I know that sounds super fun, but play along with me because this is where the inner work you get to do and I get to do allow itself to express in our external world. If we don't learn from the lessons that show up for us, we're wasting our own time. And I'm also guessing that you're seeing a pattern in your life or a common theme that shows up over and over again as well. Those blind spots, they are tricky suckers sometimes. And it's almost easier to see the blind spot in someone else than it is to see our own. Sometimes we're just too close to it and we have built a relationship with it that we didn't even realize existed. I was being interviewed on a live show with a coach named Adam Quiney, who helped me unpack a feeling I had been carrying. And that feeling was around not feeling valued. And this struck a chord, and it was a loud chord, y'all. I cried when this came up, and that's when I knew that this feeling was true for me. We then went through some excavating work around how I could sit with this, discover where it came from, and also what patterns might show up for me around it. And the question he gave me was, where do I step over my own boundaries to be in loving service to someone else? And by the way, if you want to catch the full interview, you can find it on my Facebook page. I reshared it on Black Friday, which was November 24th. You can just scroll down on the page and it should be there. And if you go about an hour in, that's where it gets really juicy. It also got me digging here into my own past from a new lens, also my present from a new lens, in just a bigger sense of observation. And this is what I love most about awareness. By the way, there was an invisible elephant in your room, but now you can actually see it. So as I dig, I write down all the ways that I've moved my boundary to create space for someone else. That's been to my detriment. I was also really compassionate with myself because as all of this unfolds, it can just be an observation rather than a judgment. I'm human and you're human, and being imperfect is actually a part of the design. I don't think it's a flaw. I think that self-discovery might actually be one of those things that we are here to learn while we're on planet Earth humaning. We get to connect with others, to be reminded of who we are. And if you ask those close to me, they tell you that I have a lion's share of self-esteem and confidence, and they wouldn't be wrong. The duality of being human also means that at the same time, with all that confidence and self-esteem, I still have times where I don't feel valued, or rather, I feel like I have to go out of my way to display value. And I want that to sit with you for a little bit. I'm actually going to say it one more time. That despite having tons of confidence and self-esteem, I still have times where I don't feel valued, or rather, I feel like I have to go out of my way to display my value. And I'm wondering if that hits home for any of you, because in being in a seat of leadership, no matter where you are the CEO of your life, whether that's in your home or in the workplace, this is one of those things where I think, especially if you have a high achiever in you, that this can be something that you're on the hamster wheel about. It's one of those places where you run this race of hard work and you run this race of achievement. I know that this came for me in overachieving as a young child because I wanted my mom to be proud of me. It came from hearing and learning to work hard to get optimal results. It came from wanting to do all of the things because perhaps if I did, something would work and then I could get my family out of our own level of poverty that we were in. It came from being fatherless by my biological father, who did not choose me in the way that he didn't show up like I was shown that fathers are supposed to show up for their kids. And later in life, this came with different opportunities with work, raising money for a film, to get to be the person who made it rain, for that accolade. So you can see there's all this achieving going on. And deep down, I had a fear, and that fear was one of not being valued. Way inside, I must have known this area was a hidden fear, because one of my positive desires that I always affirm in my visioning statements is that I am always paid to just show up because people want me in the room. And my life has also been a reflection of that many times, but it was that desire that I had without being fully consciously aware that I also had a wound around feeling valuable. So think about those patterns I talked about a few minutes ago. And where do you see your own patterns? Where do you let others cross your boundaries? Where do you cross your own boundaries? How about, are there ways where you're being a martyr? Or who are you blaming when you're saying it's not your fault? In any of those questions, you just might be able to find the answer and to uncover your own elephant that's been in your room this whole time. As season 1 comes to a close, I want to thank you again for sharing and for your awesome reviews. For season 2, we're moving the show to television, but we'll repurpose the audio for the podcast. And we will be posting replays from our weekly live stream over at Bold Brave TV Network on Spotify and Roku. I hope you'll join us there and maybe even call in your live questions if you want to send some to me ahead of time. If there's content you want me to cover, please send that over. I'm working on the next season now and would love your feedback. I am really, really looking forward to working with live scenarios and curiosities and talking to you all live. Happy holidays, and may abundance always walk beside you. May joy always go before you, and may love always guide you on your path. Thank you for joining us on today's show. I hope that today's session inspires you to live an aligned life where you get to take complete ownership of your feelings and decisions to live in your truth. You can connect with me more at www.maryd.com. You can also catch us on YouTube at The Mary Dee Show. Head on over to Instagram and Facebook and type in @TheMaryD and just look for the little blue check to ensure you're on my official page.